Hello, I'm thrilled to be part of the fourth Latin American Forum on Housing and Habitat and join the discussion on green and resilient housing. What an exciting moment. Strengthening and improving existing housing is now squarely on the development agenda and getting the attention it needs and deserves. The World Bank predicts that 3 billion people will be living in substandard housing by 2030 if we do not act more quickly. It is time to improve housing to withstand the effects of climate and other disasters, to protect assets, and to improve the health and daily lives of homeowners, especially women. It is possible and achievable with the right combination of political will, people's motivation, financial access, and technology. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Hausler, the founder and CEO of Build Change, the leader in systems change for disaster resilient housing in emerging markets. Since 2004, our preventative, homeowner-driven, conditional cash plus technical assistance approach has helped to establish lasting mechanisms for resilient housing around the world. We have operated in 24 countries in Asia, Latin America, and Caribbean, improving the lives of nearly 600,000 people and helping to protect $1.5 billion in housing assets in the process. Our partnerships span from government, NGOs, microfinance agencies, private sector, multilaterals, and more. Resilient housing initiatives are transformative and produce permanent change. They save lives, protect the vulnerable, reduce climate impacts, create jobs, and galvanize economies. Our history in Latin America and Caribbean goes back 10 years, starting in Haiti after the devastating 2010 earthquake near Port-au-Prince. Build Change proved that retrofitting or strengthening and improving an existing building is a cost-effective, long-lasting alternative to a short-term transitional shelter. Strengthening damaged buildings is an especially powerful mechanism for enabling women and families to return to safety from tent camps, to restart home-based businesses, and to bundle in other upgrades such as water and sanitation improvements. Having proven the concept of retrofitting an existing building in one of the toughest environments around, we asked ourselves and the World Bank and government partners and homeowners, how can we work together to strengthen and improve houses before the next earthquake or hurricane? How can we make housing healthier, greener, safer, and make entire communities more resilient all together at the same time? Latin America has been the perfect place to start and to realize the vision of disaster resilient housing for all. Latin America has all the elements to grow resilient housing programs: high and growing urban population density, preference for masonry construction, which can be deadly in earthquakes but can be strengthened, constitutional rights to basic housing, and oftentimes subsidy programs for home improvement already in place. Plus, Latin America has an appetite for technology innovation and an energy for growth. In Colombia, major strides are being taken to make resilient housing a reality for everyone through Casa Digna, Vida Digna. Build Change is supporting the multi-city rollout of this innovative and groundbreaking home improvement program through policy and operational inputs and technical platforms. So let's talk about this opportunity in Colombia and beyond. In Colombia and in most of Build Change's markets, 60 to 75% of the housing stock is substandard, vulnerable to earthquakes or hurricanes. In almost every country, the greatest housing deficit is qualitative, not quantitative. This means that most people don't need new homes. They need better, more resilient homes. There are so many reasons to invest in greener, more resilient housing. First, housing interventions can accomplish so many things: withstand disasters, increase energy efficiency, improve health, improve access, accommodate growth, improve kitchens and toilets, fix leaky roofs. The list goes on and on, but it's what homeowners want. Second, strengthening existing housing is climate smart. It's the green thing to do. The carbon footprint of improving an existing home is so much lower than the cost of replacing it after disaster. Third, improving and densifying urban houses reduce environmental footprint in the form of urban sprawl. There are many locations in which buildings shouldn't go any higher, but for those neighborhoods dominated by single-story buildings, strengthening and expanding vertically can create additional housing units while reducing the need to invest in new infrastructure and utilities. Fourth, the benefits of retrofitting existing housing extend beyond climate resilience. It's affordable. Build Changes data indicates that retrofitting is only a fraction of the cost of new construction. And finally, retrofitting can also be one of the fastest ways to reactivate economies where COVID-19 has hit very hard. It creates jobs through the construction supply chain. The construction industry is a major source of employment worldwide. It's labor intensive, generates many jobs per unit of investment, both on and off the building site. So why aren't governments investing even more in making existing housing more green and more disaster resilient? Well, it could be because it's easier and more lucrative to invest in construction of new housing units. It could be that governments simply have other priorities like investing in transportation, education, health, hospitals, economic development. But investments in better housing affect all aspects of life. Housing loss hits GDP hardest in disasters, as shown in recent extreme weather events in the Caribbean. It could also be that housing is perceived as a private asset, but it's a government liability when the disaster happens. It could be that it just seems too complicated to go house by house in an urban neighborhood. So here's where technology comes in. In addition to suggesting policy changes and facilitating access to finance, Build Change implements technology platforms for systems change. We are digitizing the housing sector, making government processes easier, more automated, and transparent, all in the service of the needs of the family, creating jobs in the community and securing a more climate resilient future for the world in which we live. So together, let's summon the courage, the political will, the financing, and the technology so that every home is disaster resilient. We hope you'll join us in this important mission. Thank you, and we look forward to a fantastic forum.